Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and wondered where all your money disappeared? You worked hard, your salary arrived on time, you promised yourself this month would be different, and yet somehow you're still left asking the same question. Here's the surprising part. Most people don't struggle with money because they earn too little. They struggle because they never give every dollar a clear job before they spend it. That's exactly why a simple budgeting framework created decades ago still helps millions of people build wealth today. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to organize your income in a way that feels realistic, flexible, and surprisingly easy to maintain. Because financial freedom isn't about making perfect decisions every day. It's about having a system that keeps you moving in the right direction, even when life gets expensive. If you're serious about taking control of your finances instead of wondering where your paycheck disappears every month, you're in the right place. On this channel, we break down personal finance into practical lessons that anyone can understand. Today we're diving into one of the most effective budgeting methods ever created, the 50-30-20 rule. It isn't a magic formula that instantly makes you rich, but it gives your money a structure, and structure is often the missing piece. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to divide your income, avoid common budgeting mistakes, and make smarter financial decisions. Imagine your monthly income as one large pie. Every slice represents a purpose, and if you randomly hand out those slices without a plan, you shouldn't be surprised when nothing is left for your future. The beauty of the 50-30-20 rule is that it keeps things incredibly simple. Half of your after-tax income goes toward your essential needs. 30% is reserved for the things that make life enjoyable. Instead of tracking dozens of complicated spending categories, you're focusing on only 3. That simplicity is exactly why so many financial experts continue recommending this method. It removes unnecessary complexity while still giving you enough flexibility to enjoy life without losing sight of your long-term goals. Before we go any further, there's one important detail that many people overlook. This entire budgeting method is based on your after-tax income, also known as your net income. That's the amount that actually reaches your bank account after taxes and other deductions have already been taken out. For example, someone earning $60,000 a year doesn't actually get to spend $60,000. Their real budgeting number is whatever lands in their account after taxes. This distinction matters because budgeting based on your gross salary creates unrealistic expectations and almost always leads to overspending. Your financial plan should always reflect the money you truly have available, not the amount printed on your employment contract. Now let's talk about the biggest slice of the pie, the 50% allocated to your needs. These are the expenses that keep your life functioning. If you stopped paying them, your daily life would become difficult very quickly. Think about housing, whether that's rent or a mortgage. Add groceries that allow you to prepare meals at home, utility bills like electricity and water, transportation needed to get to work, insurance that protects you from unexpected emergencies, and basic healthcare costs. These aren't glamorous purchases, but they're the foundation that supports everything else. When people underestimate these expenses or confuse them with optional spending, their entire budget begins to fall apart before the month is even halfway over. Here's an easy way to separate a need from a want. Ask yourself one simple question. If I stopped paying for this today, would it seriously affect my ability to live, work, or stay safe? If the answer is yes, it's probably a need. If the answer is no, then it's likely a want. This sounds obvious, yet it's where most budgets quietly fail. Many people convince themselves that expensive coffee every morning is essential because it's part of their routine. Others believe upgrading to the newest smartphone every year is necessary for productivity. In reality, those are preferences, not necessities. honest with yourself about this difference is one of the most valuable financial skills you can develop. Let's make this even more practical. Now let's explore a real-world budgeting example. Imagine your monthly take-home income is $4,000. Following this rule, $2,000 would be available for your essential expenses. That doesn't mean you should spend exactly $2,000. It simply gives you a healthy limit. If your housing costs alone consume more than half your income, the problem usually isn't the budget itself. It often means your lifestyle has become too expensive for your current earnings. That's why budgeting isn't just about tracking money. It's also about recognizing small daily expenses matter, but large recurring expenses usually determine whether your budget succeeds or fails. Now comes the category most people enjoy talking about: the 30% reserved for your wants. These are the things that make life more enjoyable, but aren't essential for survival. Going out to restaurants, weekend trips, streaming subscriptions, gaming, shopping for fashionable clothes, none of these are inherently bad. In fact, completely eliminating fun from your budget usually backfires because people become frustrated and abandon their financial plans altogether. The goal is to enjoy it responsibly without sacrificing your financial future. A budget should guide your lifestyle, not punish you for living. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. If someone handed you an extra $1,000 today with one condition, you had to spend it on only one category, would you choose needs, wants, or savings? The final 20% is where your financial future is built. At first glance, it looks like the smallest category in the entire budget, which is why many people ignore it whenever money feels tight. But that's exactly backwards. This portion isn't designed to make today more comfortable. It exists to make tomorrow less stressful. Every dollar placed into this category is working to create options for your future self. Whether it's building an emergency fund, eliminating debt, investing for retirement, or saving for a major life goal, this 20% is what transforms budgeting from a simple spending plan into a genuine wealth-building strategy. It's the difference between constantly reacting to financial emergencies and gradually creating a life where money becomes a tool instead of a constant source of anxiety. The first priority for this category should be building an emergency fund. Life has a habit of throwing unexpected expenses at the worst possible moments. A sudden medical bill, a broken car, expensive home repairs, or even an unexpected job loss. That's why many financial planners recommend keeping enough money to cover roughly 6 to 12 months of essential living expenses. It may sound overwhelming at first, but remember that nobody builds an emergency fund overnight. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Even small monthly contributions eventually create a financial safety net that allows you to face life's surprises. Once your emergency fund is growing, the next focus should be eliminating high-interest debt. Credit card balances, personal loans with high interest rates, and similar obligations quietly consume your income month after month. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while there's a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, the bucket never stays full. That's exactly what high-interest debt does to your finances. Every payment toward interest is money that can no longer be invested, saved, or used to improve your future. Many successful investors agree on one principle. Earning strong investment returns becomes much easier after expensive debt is eliminated. That's why paying off high-interest debt often provides one of the best guaranteed financial returns available. After building a solid emergency fund and reducing costly debt, your attention should shift toward long-term investing and retirement planning. This is where time becomes your strongest financial advantage. The earlier you begin investing, the more opportunity your money has to compound over the years. Even modest monthly investments can grow into substantial amounts, simply because investment returns begin generating returns of their own. You don't need to become a stock market expert or spend hours analyzing companies every week. The important lesson is developing the habit of consistently setting money aside for your future. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing the 50-30-20 rule must be followed perfectly every single month. Real life doesn't work that way. Some months your needs may temporarily exceed 50% because of moving expenses, medical bills, or higher housing costs. Other months you may intentionally spend more on wants while taking a vacation or celebrating an important milestone. The purpose of this framework isn't to create guilt whenever life changes. Instead, it provides a reliable target that helps you recognize when your spending habits begin drifting too far in one direction. Financial success isn't about achieving perfection every month. It's about making small adjustments before temporary habits become permanent problems. The most important lesson from this entire budgeting strategy has nothing to do with percentages. Every paycheck should arrive with a plan before it arrives with temptations. When your money already has a purpose, you're far less likely to spend it impulsively on things that don't truly improve your life. Over time, those intentional decisions compound, just like investments do. Better spending habits lead to larger savings. Larger savings create greater financial security. Greater security gives you more opportunities and more freedom to choose how you want to live. That's the real goal of budgeting. Not restricting your lifestyle, but creating a future where money gives you choices instead of limiting them. If today's lesson helped you see budgeting from a different perspective, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with a friend, sibling, or family member who always wonders where their paycheck disappears each month. Sometimes one simple financial principle can completely change the way someone manages money for years to come. And if you want more practical, easy-to-understand videos on personal finance, investing, budgeting, and building long-term wealth, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and remember, building wealth isn't about earning the biggest paycheck. It's about making smarter decisions with the money you already have. Until next time, keep learning, keep investing in yourself, and have a prosperous day.